All right, today is Monday, July 5th, 2021. We're going to address a press conference that occurred last week on July 1st, 2021. The press conference was regarding Winston Smith, a black man who was shot and killed by law enforcement officials here in Minneapolis and Uptown. And the lawyers representing the passenger in the car with Winston Smith were leading the press conference and stating some of the narrative that occurred from the passenger's viewpoint in the car. Now, the important thing to point out is that the BCA and major media outlets have already stated, they originally stated that Winston Smith was a murder suspect. He actually wasn't. BCA said that they found a gun and a cartridge in the car. The passenger story rivals that. And so the reason why this press conference is important is that it also illustrates some historical parallels that we've seen with black men being shot and killed by law enforcement. And one that it goes back to is in 1999 in New York City with Amadou Diallo. Amadou Diallo was shot, I believe, 18 to 19 times by New York law enforcement officials while reaching for his wallet. And the idea is that he's reaching for his wallet to show them, hey, you know, this is my ID, I'm a citizen. And he was shot and killed by law enforcement officials 18 to 19 times. That being said, what runs parallel with the Winston Smith case is the passenger said that Winston was reaching for his phone when he was shot 10 times by law enforcement officials. And it kind of begs the question if any movement whatsoever was going to not prompt law enforcement officials to shoot and kill him on sight after pulling up in 8+ unmarked squad cars, jumping out. The passenger also said they jumped out and they were not in uniform, they were plainclothes officers. And these are U.S. Marshals and Ramsey and Hennepin County law enforcement officials that were deputized by the U.S. Marshals. And it's important to point this out so you can get the picture because not a lot of information has been released. So one takeaway is that Winston Smith, that we learned from this past press conference, is that Winston Smith was reaching for his phone, not reaching for anything else that would put anybody, you know, at risk or jeopardy or harm. Another thing to point out is that there was no gun. The passenger never saw a gun on Winston Smith or in the car. And that rivals what the BCA said in regards saying that there was a gun and there was an empty cartridge there. And the last thing that we took away from the press conference was that the medical examiner washed Winston Smith's body before they checked for any gun residue on him. And so what they do is they check for gun residue on a hand or anywhere in the body to show evidence that this person had a gun and was going to use it to support their case. They didn't do that. And so now we have a case that's shrouded in mystery. They washed away any evidence on the body that would have possibly supported their case, which begs the question why. The passenger saw no gun in the car and he was reaching for his phone, which begs the question, did Winston Smith even stand a chance in this scenario? And goes further, are U.S. Marshals and law enforcement officers just allowed to pull up like deputized cowboys on black men and have open season on black people? The idea that's happening here with the mayor, the chief of police, and media outlets that aren't really speaking about this is that it's a dismissal. We talked about this before with subjective and objective reporting. This isn't either. One, the Star Tribune got it entirely wrong and demonized this man as a murder suspect, which he wasn't. And then two, it's a dismissal. And we see this happen often with black everything, with our history, with our innovations, with our hair, with our feelings, with us being dead, with us being alive. There's a dismissal. And it's done in different ways. And so it's important to point that out, how Winston Smith is being dismissed. Now, there's some ways that you can show up and support. At Lake and Girards, there's the Wince Marie Garden. Deanna Marie is a protester who was struck and killed by a car while protesting for Winston Smith's life and justice. And you can go there and hold space, help out, bring soil, do whatever is asked there. There's an Instagram link we'll put below. You can also go to Georgia Fort's link as well. I believe she streamed the entire press conference. You can go to Onsite Public Media. We have some bits and pieces and highlights from it. But also follow Families Supporting Families Against Police Violence, Racial Justice Network, that are organizing and leading actions to go hold the BCA accountable. Ramona Doman, the lead of the U.S. Marshals here in Minnesota, accountable, and keep following the narrative there. So we hope to keep continuing to follow this story as it goes forward, not let it die in darkness, as they say democracy does, and yeah, to hopefully keep following this narrative. But these are some of the takeaways from last week's press conference.